Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Green and Gold over everything. And this is episode 15 of Green and Gold over everything. And we're excited to be able to bring it to you today. And as we get a little bit closer to finding out if the Green Bay Packers will make the playoffs this year in a season where it's been rocky, it's at times, and you would say, "Oh man, look at this team! They're ready to make strides." And there was times you're like, "What is this?" But uh, Today, 425, we're going to find out for sure if the Green Bay Packers are a playoff caliber team, and if the young guns can get in the playoffs, and who knows, make a little noise, or just go up and show up, and we're going to see all of that. But hey, it's time for Green and Gold over everything, and we got a short broadcast for you today. But we wanted to make sure that we get one in. It's been 2 weeks. Happy New Year's to everybody. Hope everybody had a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, depending on whatever one that you prefer, and hopefully that you enjoyed yourselves during that time frame. But let's go ahead and get it started. Green and Gold over everything. We are here for Green and Gold over everything. Episode 15. Once again, it's good to be back. Took a couple weeks off, and sorry, y'all, that I missed out on a couple of good weeks. Interesting week one, and the other one being a little bit better. But we'll recap a little bit of those games, get into the Minnesota game, and then, of course, preview a little bit of the Chicago Bears matchup that will take place at 4:25 today. Now, with everything going on, it's my birthday happened during this time frame, so took a week off of that in the Christmas, but we're back. And now we're gonna make this one not as long as normal. I don't have my partners in crime with me today, so we'll make this one a little bit quicker, just to kind of give you update to where we are. Hopefully the fellows will have Deshaun and Randall back next week to bring you episode 16 and either finish off the season or we'll be getting prepared for a playoff run. So, with that said, let's get into the two games we missed. First game that I want to talk about was the game from Week 15, losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which put the Packers in a pretty bad spot per se, because the Packers kind of needed that game. And I had a feeling it was going to be one of those games that would be a desperation type game, because the Packers would have needed it, or would have needed the game, in order for them to have that, just to have that edge over Tampa Bay. And it was Atlanta game was the same, and a couple of those other games, same way. But in this game, last Packers game that they had at home was not did not go the way they would have liked. The defense struggled. Baker Mayfield went 22 for 28 and had 381 yards in that contest, and they just couldn't stop him. I mean, he had a perfect quarterback rating, the first person to ever have a perfect quarterback rating against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau. That wasn't, a team that wasn't or wasn't a Packers quarterback. So that was the first time ever that had happened. In the Week 16 matchup, we saw the Packers defeat an NFC South foe in the Carolina Panthers, but it was not it wasn't easy. Carolina did not back down, and the Packers defense gave up a lot of points to Bryce Young and the crew, and they were up 30-16 with like 7 minutes left in the game, and they gave up that lead. And the Packers were able to get the ball, kick the field goal, Anders Carlson a field goal to win the game. But looking at these two games and saying to myself, like, man, what in the world? You 1 week, I had a feeling that the Tampa Bay game was going to be a little bit weird. I did. I'm not going to sit there and lie to you. I thought the Tampa Bay game would be a little bit weird, and it was just that. I mean, and we were just getting Aaron Jones kind of back, and it just I don't know, it just left a bad taste in my mouth. Even though they had moments where it looked like maybe they'll still be in the mix. I mean, at halftime it was 13-10. And, Tampa Bay scored 2 touchdowns in the third, and they just kind of opened that bad boy from there. And Green Bay, at least so far this season, has not proven that they can, like, make comebacks to win games. Like, it has not happened, like, talking about this year. So, and that was kind of the part for me that was like, okay, what do you do there? But Tampa Bay goes in, they win the game. They had been rolling until last week when they lost to New Orleans, and they were looking like they were about to handle things there. But a tough loss in Week 15. Week 16 was a bounce back week, and that's where we saw the Packers kind of get things back in motion a little bit. They were up at the half. They were up 23-10. They looked like they were in cruise control, and they didn't score in the third, but Carolina scored late in the fourth. It just kind of made it a closer game than I think it actually was. But, if you're a Packer enthusiast like myself, you don't want to see your defense give up that many points that late with that much time left on the clock. And that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing. Now, they were able to hold on to the lead, but it's a scary thing when your defense cannot make the plays down the stretch to winning not an easy game, but a game that they should have won. It's based off of the way that both teams have played this year. Now, they did win the game, and that's good, fine and dandy. That kept them alive just a little bit longer in this playoff push. But what we saw in that game was another great game or at least another solid game by Jordan Love. Aaron Jones started cranking things up in that game. He had 21 carries for 127 yards out there looking like Aaron Jones. So, but what I've liked in this process, the one thing that's kind of shined to me is the receiving core, because his receiving core has been beat up. And guess what? They still found ways to win games, even with a beat up receiving core. That has been the part that I was like, man, they're still figuring that thing out, even with a beat up receiving core. So, and like this past week, you saw Bo Milton lead the way. Last week it was Romeo Doubs. The week before then it was Dontavian Wicks. So, Jaden Reed was killing things before he got hurt in the Minnesota game this past weekend. So I look at this team and I see a lot of potential. 23 and under on this team. 23 and under on the offense. I'm managed Jordan. I think Jordan is 24, 25. I think he's 25. Don't quote me on that. He just had a birthday on Christmas, I think Christmas Eve. So it's something. It was a little rough couple of weeks. The time that we were off and we didn't come on here and either rant and rave about what was going on, but they persevered, and now they are sitting, or we're sitting at 8-8 heading into the game this past weekend. All right, so we got a chance to see a lot of things the last couple of weeks, and the Packers going 2-1 during that process. Personally, would have liked to see them to go 3-0. Technically, it should have been 4-0, but I'm not gonna not even go into that Giants game because I'm gonna get upset. But let's talk about the game on Sunday that just passed, where you saw this Packers team go in to Minnesota, which is a hard thing for this team to do. And since that the U.S. Bank of America, whatever they call that place up there in Minnesota, ever since they moved into that building, the Packers have not had that much success. They have struggled there. They tend to lose there. I don't even want to know. I don't even know the record off top hand, but I know they're not above 500. They can't be. If they are, then it would blow my mind away. But they just haven't had the best of luck at the U.S. Bank Stadium up there in Minnesota. So for them to go into that game and get the win that they needed was nice to see. It was a really nice thing to see. Um, Looking into this, talking about some of the players that had really good games in this contest, and my player of the game overall, it was Jordan Love. I mean, Jordan Love had himself a really, really nice day. 24 for 33, 256 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 125.3 quarterback rating. And so he goes in there, and I'm not going to say he looks flawed, but he looked flawless in the game. There was a couple of times, I'm not going to lie to you, some of his passes look like they just be up there in the air for a minute, but he has just enough touch on it. He gets it to the player. I don't care how he does it. He just does it. And so it was a great game for Jordan Love. And we got a chance to see Jordan really shine in that game on Sunday night in prime time. A much needed game, a must win game for this Packers team, and he was able to pull it off. Next, got to talk about Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed, before he got hurt, he did not come back out. I think he did not come back out in the second half. He hurt his chest, an injury that he was been dealing with. So they pulled him. He had 6 receptions for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I'm going to be honest with you, the way he was cooking, I would not have been surprised if he had got more points, more touchdowns, all that goes out. Like it was trending that way for Jaden Reed. And, he passes Sterling Sharp for the most receptions for a rookie in most receptions for a receiver in his rookie year. So congratulations there. And that's big for me because I'm a big Sterling Sharp guy. The reason why I'm a Packer enthusiast is because of Sterling Sharp. So congratulations to Jaden Reed in that accomplishment. Then another big day from Aaron Jones is back-to-back weeks with 120 yards rushing, the first time since Almon Green did it back in the day, which, at least 15 years ago. But Aaron Jones comes in there, has a great game himself. And this is the factor. When you have Aaron Jones playing on top of his game, I would, beg to differ that Green Bay is dangerous. And I mean that. I mean, it's just a different vibe when he is healthy and rolling, and you can see the confidence in Jordan. And we saw it the last 2 weeks. They're definitely going to need that against Chicago this weekend. Excuse me. They're definitely going to need that against Chicago later on today. So I'll be intrigued to see what they do if he can duplicate the performance he had in week 1, because they're going to need every bit of that if the Packers want to make the playoffs. Another shout out, another great game by this young man, Bo Milton, the 7th round pick, comes in 6 receptions, 105 yards and a TD for Green Bay. And this is what I was talking about. This young receiving core, I've been one person, and Randall will say it. He knows, our guy Randall Burns knows that I still feel, even now, I would like to have had a veteran presence in that locker room for tight ends and receivers, and I'm not going to back away from that. But I do love the fact that the young guys are proving me wrong, and I hope they continue to prove me wrong. They're playing really good football. The only one of the receivers that is just, to me, not up to par has been Samori Toure. And I think he's on the IR right now, so he won't be back, I believe, for the rest of the season. I don't know if he would have to miss at least 4 games, so he's gone for the rest of the season. And Bo Milton has taken his spot, and to be honest with you, it's well deserved. Milton has really come out and played well for the Packers. And then on the defensive side of the things, got to give a shout out to Keyshawn Nixon, man. I mean, look, Keyshawn Nixon has played really well for this Packers team. He had 11 tackles, a half a sack, tackle for loss, 23 yards of kickoff returns, but he does a lot for that defense. And on top of that, on the special teams front, if he gets rolling and these young guys get rolling, I really do think the sky's the limit. I'm not going to say the team's winning the Super Bowl, but I really think that they can make some legitimate pushes. Now, before we move on to talk about the Bears game, I want you all to kind of listen what our quarterback had to say, along with Aaron Jones, after their Sunday night victory against the Minnesota Vikings, talking to UVA's own Melissa Stark. Wahoo for those Virginia fans out there.
I sure am, Mike, and welcome to our post-game New Year's Eve celebration. Guys, we have some sparkling cider here for you. Cheers to you guys. We love the top hats. Before we celebrate, I just have to ask you first, what just happened post-game in that little scuffle there?
We're walking out to shake hands, and I see one of our players have an interaction with the Vikings player who just finished playing, and they get in each other's face going at it, and they start shoving, so I just kind of tried to de-escalate and move him to his sideline, and we were good after that.
Good job de-escalating. All right, well, the party starts now. Tell me what ways you have grown since your first matchup against the Vikings this season.
Yeah, I think I've grown in a lot of ways. I think, just showing up to work every week, trying to find ways to get better, understanding how I need to, attack these guys after the first game, and just growing on the little mistakes, and then just trusting everybody around me. Everybody, we're just putting in that work every week and getting better. So
I want to ask you about the defense, because your defense has been criticized as of late and put up a tremendous performance tonight.
Yeah, I think in the business of what we do, we're always going to be criticized. But, it's all about what you do next. And they came up, stepped up big tonight, and made some huge plays.
Yeah, talking about huge plays, this guy right here. First of all, I need to ask you, you went in the medical tent. You came out, gave me a thumbs up with that knee. How is it?
It's good. Just banged knees, and this was my sore knee that had already hurt earlier in the year. So felt a little bit, just needed a couple plays, and I was good.
And you told me that people think you're old. You just turned 29, and that you want to prove the critics wrong. What did you prove to them tonight?
I'm still 3-3. Still Showtime. Still got it. Nothing's changing.
All right. You and I talked earlier in the week about your New Year's resolution. You want to tell everybody what it is, and I'm going to give you this so you can start working.
Yeah, my New Year's resolution, I'm going to learn how to shuffle cards.
Why?
I just don't know how to do it, and I need to be able to learn how to do that, for all the games I play, Uno, things like that. So, yeah.
On the plane ride back.
Exactly.
By the way, they said they're wearing these top hats on the plane ride back, and he asked if he could keep it. New Year's resolution?
New Year's resolution, just
You told me.
Give up the junk food.
Yep.
Give up the junk food. The candy, donuts, it's tough, but I've done it once, so I can do it again.
He has a sweet tooth. All right, finally, I just want to look ahead really quick to next week, because your predecessor, Aaron Rodgers, claimed to have owned the Bears, and he backed it up with his record. What are you most looking forward to next week?
It's going to be a big-time game, and, we need to win that one to get up in the playoffs. I'm excited to be at home for that game and go put on a show.
All right, guys.
All right, so that was Aaron Jones and Jordan Love talking in the post game. Of course, that was from Sunday Night Football, so all the credit going to Sunday Night Football. That video was courtesy of them and Melissa Stark, Wahoo UVA in the building. So a big win that now they have to win this upcoming week against the Chicago Bears. So let's go ahead and get into that. Let's get into our game preview for the Bears and the Green Bay Packers. All right, Packers versus Bears coming at you, and it is going to be a fun one from Green Bay, a very important one from Green Bay. Like, it doesn't get no bigger than this for the Packers, especially this young Packers team with a chance to go in and potentially make the playoffs. So we're going to see if they're able to pull that off here in Week 18. All right, so Bears, Packers heading into the final week of the regular season. So here's the deal. You got a Packers team that needs to win and get in. They hold the all-time series lead against the Bears, 106-95, and 6 ties. But this is a chance right now for a young Packers team to go in there and show that, Brian Gutekunst has everything going in the right direction, that Mark Murphy have everything going in the right direction. And they also have an opportunity to show that this team has perseverance. Now, last year, Packers were in this the same exact situation where they went into the final week of the season. You win and you end against the Lions at home. couldn't pull it off. Now they have a chance against an arch rival in the Chicago Bears to win, and you're in. And that's going to be a very interesting thing to see if they can pull it off. They have a big opportunity to do that. Right now, they're currently the 7th seed, but they have to win and get in. Now, in the first time these two played each other back in the beginning part of the season, Jordan Love and this Packers team had a really good day and winning 38-20. But the Bears team that they face right now is a completely different Bears team. It's a completely different Bears team than what we saw at the beginning of the season. They're playing better football the last 2 weeks. They beat the Cardinals. They beat the Falcons last week, and they won in pretty impressive fashion in both games. So now we get a duel of the two young quarterbacks. The Bears are going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder. They want to take the Packers out of the postseason at any means necessary. So this Packers team is going to have to come in and do everything in their power to win this game. Now, the keys for me for the Packers winning this game. Number one, Jordan Love has to continue to be Jordan Love. The Jordan Love that we've seen over the last 7 games has been extremely impressive, extremely confident, and a man that is ready to take that next step to potentially being one of the NFL's elite quarterbacks. And he has an opportunity to do that. That's the first thing that needs to happen. Secondly, get Aaron Jones, keep Aaron Jones rolling, get a good mix of him and Dylan, and make that thing continue to work. That's going to be critical for Green Bay just to win this game and throughout the playoffs. Because if you can give Jordan Love that balance, magic can happen. And if they can keep Aaron Jones healthy and pace him, the sky's the limit for this Packers team. Okay? Not saying win a Super Bowl, but the sky's the limit. Then next, the receiving core. You look at this receiving core, they've been nicked up and just getting them healthy. You know, Watson hasn't played in 4 games. Dobb has been the consistent most of the season. He hasn't, I think he was out early in the season, but he's been there pretty much every game. Reed has been cooking, but they got to get him healthy. Wicks has been having a good season. Got to get him healthy. Bo Milton is starting to play well. Luke Musgrave could be coming back here soon. I'm not sure if he's going to play, but the way Tyler Kraft has been playing, they're playing well. So that has to keep rolling. And another key element, the offensive line has played phenomenally. They have to keep that going. And so, the whole offensive line has been great. And if they can keep that rolling, I think they're in good shape. And last but not least, Joe Burrow and that defense. Whatever you did against Minnesota, keep that thing rolling. You cannot come in this game playing lackadaisical. Jair Alexander should be back. And they've got to find a way to beat the Chicago Bears team and make it into the playoffs. Now, obviously, if the opposite happens, there'll be a lot of sad Green Bay fans, but I still would see this season as a success because in my personal opinion, as I kept telling people, I was about 85% on Jordan Love. Right now, that's bumped up to 90 if he is the future of this team, and that's where my meter, the Jordan Love meter, stands right now. So Green Bay, big game today. Can they beat the Bears? Can they make the playoffs? And a potential matchup between either the Lions, the Eagles, or the Dallas Cowboys could be awaiting the Green Bay Packers. Once again, everybody, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in for Green and Gold over everything. And this is episode 15 here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. And, we'll see if the Packers can do the deal. If not, we'll be back next week talking a little bit sadder, and hopefully that won't be the case. But we'll see if they can pull it off, if they can beat the Chicago Bears. It's going to be a big one today against the arch rival. Once again, everybody, I am Darrell Owens. Thank you all for tuning in for Green and Gold over everything, episode 15. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Green and Gold over everything on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. If you get an opportunity, make sure you head on over to our social media pages. You can hit us up on Legacy Maker Sports on LinkedIn and Facebook, at Legacy Maker Sports on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, or you can hit us up on the X/Twitter at LegacyMakerSPN. Also, head to our website, www.legacymakersports.com, to check out all our latest content. And if you really, really want to jump in, you can check out our Boxcast account and check out some of our live broadcasts that we've done over the last couple of years. Once again, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. I'm Darrell Lawrence, Legacy Maker Sports Network.